Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you with Strongbox, the Big Bad Book of Boon, issue 5. In this issue, I'm not gonna lie, it sort of threw me for a loop because at the end of issue 4, we find that one of the savants finds this sword called the Slayer Foil. And Altman just kind of puts in there, he goes, Frank Boon, living 2 lives? Will one of them meet a violent end? This will soon find out. Or the world will soon find out. Not enough coffee yet. And then we get into issue 5 and you're thinking, okay, we're going to kick this bad dude's ass. But then we open up and we're on a kind of a double date of the commissioner, his blow-up dolly, and Frank. A candid crime novel brought to you by H. Thomas Altman. And the rest of the people that are working on this rendered into Perpetual Deterrence by Sebastian Sala and Minan Giblets. Again, if I'm pronouncing names wrong, feel free to make fun of me. I'm sorry. So usually when they do something like this, whether it be TV, movies, books, where all of a sudden they're kind of in this theater and they're not really showing a whole lot, the drape, noir, darkness, it usually means we're inside someone's head. Because one thing that I do realize when I was reading this, when I kind of flipped back through it after reading it, is all 4 issues thus far, when we're in Frank's head, we'll see his journal entries. This particular issue has none. We get a moment of these words saying, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now go on. You heard what the lady said. Start moving. And then all of a sudden we're in Chugwater. And we see the savants walking away like they're defeated. And the only nod to the last issue we get is seeing the Slayer foil here being carried into this building. But here you see Miss. Miss, hold up. Seems there's been a hitch in this get along. Miss, would you kindly go out walking away from me? 14 seconds from now, you're going to tell me that you must leave us. Ironic of you to say. You plucked that from my noggin. There's a timestamp you don't want no part of, miss. But still, you ain't all that far off. You're like, wait, what the hell? At this point, Frank's already kind of established with these characters, so why is he saying miss and being kind of stranger about it? And then all of a sudden, there's like this sort of romantic moment. And then Frank says, he's gotten bit by the bandwidth. Yeah, I had to think of bandwidth. The bandwidth, or however you want to pronounce that. And you're just thinking, wait, what? But again, you have no journal entries. It just says, your heart races. Frank, eager to drive full forward into that dark abyss. Utilizing every tactical trick your training has proven correct. Into the gaping maw of 10,000 huge cities. Doubt plagues your every step. Forced against arcane edicts, which prevented you then, as now, from reaching that epic ending to your serial saga. And then all of a sudden it shows Frank tanking off. You see she's distraught. We see Pellwater just kind of watching and wondering what Frank's going to do. And then we get back into, we sort of nod back to the beginning of the story where at the hospital, when we first see the bandwidth and how it disappears from its victim. And here it says, a man of true adventure, of grit and still, a man of strange passions, an amateur of love. A perspicacious man, more than capable of discerning between baseless fiction and other. Will this mystery be solved by this mysterious man? Time will tell. But I believe this is the gentleman from the first issue who Frank kind of has a back and forth with, and they are able to connect because they were both in the military. And then we kind of get into talking about the gang from the first issue as well. They're called the Hoods. You get some backstory on them to kind of, build their characters, because again, you don't want one-dimensional characters. And then we go back to Frank all of a sudden in his home there at the movie theater. And I just kind of got it says John Wayne and lawless frontier. And then we get Frank in the foreground. Just a very nice parallel there between John Wayne and Frank Boon. Because as I said, he's very much a man at a time. So even though this book was kind of felt all over the place, because all of a sudden Frank has to do something in order to save himself or serve the villain that everybody is going after. And then, again, another moment with Dimitri where, again, we're kind of all going back to the beginning of the first issue, where he has to return to the scene of the crime of the first murder. And then the janitor we were just talking about a minute ago, how he can't stand the evil on his floors here in the morgue, and so he goes to some extremes to try to remove it. So I'm interested in to see where all this goes. Because at this point, it just feels like everything kind of, narratively, just goes a complete 180. You know, I mean, that kind of happened between issues 3 and 4, where Frank goes into the anti-beyond. That was sort of like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't think that there's enough acid here. And then we think that we're back in reality here in issue 5, but we're not getting Frank's internal, third person narrative. If I'm wrong, feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. So again, this leads me to believe, are we really in reality, or what the hell is going on? And again, when we complete this and read all, 9 issues, I think, it'll all make sense. And that's kind of how you have to read Grant Morrison, because you read a couple of his issues and you're just sort of like, wait, what? And you step back, and after you've read the whole arc, and you're like, oh, that made sense. That was a freaking good idea. That's how I'm feeling with this issue, is once we've read the next few ones, it's going to make sense. So I want to see what everything that's happening here, how that's going to connect in issue 6. So if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen in this book and want to read it, love to hear your thoughts on it. Please, and first and foremost, support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If not, I'll leave a link down in the description where you can pick up the books online. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you mind hitting that fancy little boom bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.